So GOB finally introduced a new event after so long, and they introduced a new helmet. We'll be discussing about that today. I'll be showing you everything. The sequence of the video will be everything about the helmet, required frags, perks, and which spec it can be used in. Then we'll be testing it with various weapons which are most popularly used by every GOB player, and then I'll be giving my opinion about what will be the outcome of this helmet and how good or bad it is. Alright, roll the clip, Jeff. So firstly, we'll be talking about how many frags are required to max this weapon out. The unlock needs 1000 fragments, the first level needs 200 fragments, the second level 300, the fourth level needs 500, the fifth level needs 800, and the last level needs 1500.
You serious?
They went overboard this time, and everything concludes to 4300 frags. I believe that's even more than what Undying used to cost. I don't know what's up with this, but they have to control this, guys. This is just too much. And now let's talk about the perk of this helmet. So the perk of this helmet is basically that it's just like Scorpion. It gives extra damage like 6% when it's maxed out, and it decreases 10% of our HP, which means 300 HP will be decreased after every activation. This helmet doesn't have a cooldown. It activates 3 times and it stacks up the damage 3 times, which means first you'll be getting a green icon on the first activation, then a yellow signal on the second activation, and a red signal on the third activation, which will help us to deal a vast amount of damage. And you can activate this helmet as much as you want in the match. It doesn't have any cooldown, but the stack up only is restricted to 3. So it means that if you activate the helmet again and again and again, the perk will only refresh, which means that our damage will not stack up more than 3 times. So let's talk about which specialization we can use this helmet in. We can use it in assault and recon. So this helmet is not allowed in the sniper specialization, and I believe that they have done something good with this helmet. Let's talk about that. Alright, so let's move on to the weapon testing, and I'll be testing 3 weapons of each category: shotguns, snipers, assault rifles, and knives. First up is bear trap. First activation, second activation, third activation. Dolores. First activation, second activation, third activation. Joker. First activation, second activation, third activation. Snipers. Crossbow. First activation, second activation, third activation. Barracuda. First activation, second activation, third activation. Last breath. Without activation, first activation, second activation, third activation. assault rifles. Sunburst. Without activation. First activation. Second activation. Third activation. Bastion. Without activation. First activation. Second activation. Third activation. Survivor. Without activation. First activation. Second activation. Third activation. Wasp. Without activation. First activation. Second activation. Third activation. Now, knives. Kingslayer. Without activation. First activation. Second activation. Third activation. Serpent. Without activation. First activation. Second activation. Third activation. Damascus. Without activation. First activation. Second activation. Third activation. So you can basically see how much of a difference the damage is. Let's move on to the final thing, which is I'll be sharing my opinion if it's good or bad. So about this helmet, guys, I think it is fair enough. It's not OP, it's not bad, but it is average. And this is the first ever helmet which requires proper skill to be used after Scorpion. Matter of fact, it is like Scorpion, but it does not enable the enemy to do vast amount of damage as Scorpion does. So it's good on that part, but it does not help us to deal that much damage like Scorpion. So what you can do while using this helmet is that you can not rely on the first activation or the second activation. So after you respawn, you can just hit the activation button first time and second time, and you can hit the third when you are facing the opponent. So you can run around the whole map and just activating again and again, because if you keep that activation to third time or third stack up, then you can deal vast amount of damage with bear trap or other shotguns. This helmet isn't good with snipers except last breath. My basic opinion is that it does not work good with crossbow, barracuda or any other sniper except last breath, and it really does a good job with shotguns, which means that you have to rush with this helmet. It's a rushing helmet. It will enable you to deal vast amount of damage, and it can help you to surprise your opponents and catch them off guard. You can use this helmet in many different ways. Lastly, some important and interesting facts about this helmet. So you might be wondering, bro, if this helmet really decreases our HP over time after activating it, so wouldn't it be like obvious that it will help us suicide ourselves? Like if we decrease enough HP and if we activate the helmet when we have 200 HP or last 10 HP, so what will happen then? My simple answer is this helmet doesn't let you suicide yourself. So as you can see on the screen right now, I'm trying to suicide and I'm using the activation again and again and again, and as you can see that it has reached 600 HP and it doesn't go further than that. The helmet won't activate when you have 10% of your HP, which means if you have only 300 HP left, then the helmet won't activate and you won't die. So there you go guys, the detailed video on Anglerfish. It's a really great helmet, go for it. I really advise you to grind for this helmet because it really can be useful against opponents using Undying. So this was my video about Anglerfish. Hope you enjoyed, hope you liked the new helmet, and I'll be making a review on the new sniper soon when it will be released. And huge thanks to two of my best friends, Futives and Wicked. They really helped me to make this video, and this video wasn't possible without them and their help. So I'll see you in the next one guys. Till then, peace out.